Hello, it's Farmer Murphy here, and I just wanted to record a short introduction to explain why it's been so long since there's been content released on the channel. And in a word, illness. There was a nasty bug going around our community, and it turned out our entire household got it, and it's taken some time to recover from that. But everybody is on the mend now, and things are returning to normal. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and I appreciate your patience. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel for this episode 3 here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, we have moved into October. It's October 1st. Oh, spot on, 8 o'clock in the morning. That plowing and stone picking contract you saw last episode, those were the only contracts that were available to us in the month of September. But that did take our funds up to 82,000, but we still do have an outstanding loan at the bank for 50,000. We can't forget about that. But, it's not surprising. When you first hang out your shingle, not everybody's going to come flocking to your door immediately. But with the advertising efforts we've put in and spreading the word down at the shop, we do have a few more opportunities available to us here this month. We have 3 baling contracts, and as luck would have it, good luck this time, they're all round baling contracts. So they're all the same piece of gear we need. Oh, look at that. That's new. That just popped in there. Oh, I was going to say we have a plowing contract. The $16,000 one was there, but this $90,000 one is new. Oh, what was that? Something else? Oh, and a cultivating one. Oh, wow. The offers are just rolling in. But what we're going to do is we are going to do these 3 baling contracts. So let's accept those, guys. This takes the game a minute to get those set up. Well, I'm feeling much better about my plan now that $90,000 plowing contract showed up. So let's talk about that plan. What I was thinking of doing for equipment, because there's nothing available and used, is I was thinking of leasing this baler. Now, the reason I was going to lease, if we look at financing, that would add about $4,000 a month. We are already paying over $12,000 a month in our commitments for rent, financing commitments, and leasing commitments we currently have. And I just didn't feel very comfortable adding another $4,000 on top of that because we are going to hit the winter months here pretty quick, and we are not going to have any income. So what I was thinking of doing is that we would lease it, and that's initial outlay of $4,000. It's $1,800 an hour after that. Yes, we're going to probably pay one or maybe, well, actually depends how we do it if we're smart, 1 or 2 times, but then I want to buy out the baler. If we go back here and look at these contracts again, if we were to lease that and buy it out, I've calculated we'd end up with about $10,000 to the good out of these contracts. Then I was looking at, well, we had this $17,000 contract in round number here. That'd add $27,000 to the coffer. But now we have this $90,000 plowing contract. Now, that's a big field. Matter of fact, it's this field right here. I think it's the biggest on the map. That literally would take a couple in-game days, I'm thinking. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to get set up. We are going to do those baling contracts, and then off camera, I will tackle that large plowing contract. But then that should put us in pretty good stead. And so what it turns out we're doing is we're doing those baling contracts for $10,000 and a brand new baler. That's what we're going to get out of it. But if any other baling contracts come in, well, they're just gravy. But at least we'll have a piece of equipment that we can use that we are not paying monthly on. And I don't mind making monthly payments, but as long as it seems like we're going to get the work to support it. But it wasn't looking terribly good. Oh, I actually didn't lease that, did I? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll now that the Deutz is fueled up, I repaired it yesterday, so it's in good shape. I'll go back into the shop menu there. I'll get that baler leased and picked up, and I will meet you at our first field. And I think what we'll do is we'll do the two most expensive ones first, and then we'll be able to actually buy out the baler if we want to. I guess that's probably, I was going to say, a little shady. You're going to release it for a few hours and buy it. But I guess you could look at it as, hey, we're renting it and we're going to try it. And if we like it, we're going to buy it. I guess that works too. So anyways, I'll get that arranged, and we'll talk to you later. Well, hello and welcome back. We're here at the field with our leased baler, ready to get some baling done. Luckily, it gave Matt a call and he was able to deliver this right sharpish for us. I didn't really leave any time at all in between there. Like I probably should have, realistically. It would have taken some time. But with that $90,000 plowing contract sitting there, don't want to waste any time. And I already wasted a little daylight because I started a little later than I probably should have today. But I don't know how much of my frustration is not the right word. At the end of that last segment, I got a little flustered there because I said we go and do the big fields first and then buy out the lease. And while I was articulating that, a thought went into my brain, well, how realistic is that? And so I kind of stuttered and stammered there for a minute, so I don't know how much of that I'll be able to cut out. Hopefully it's not too bad, but that's why that occurred, because, oh, that's probably not too realistic. But, you know, thinking about it, having had a minute or two, you know, if you were to take a piece of equipment and lease it and you really liked it and wanted to buy it, even if it was the same day, you know, you did the work you wanted to, say, yep, that's good for me, there'd be no obligation to keep it any particular length of time. So I have reconciled with myself that that's okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do these two big fields, get them baled up, and then we'll buy out the baler and we can do the last small one. We don't have to worry about any hourly lease charges then. Like I said, the only unrealistic thing about it is the fact that my baler showed up magically in a matter of moments. Well, we'll let it slide this time. Now, I wasn't too sure or confident in this plan, to be honest with you, before that large plowing contract showed up, because we would have added, like I said, about $10,000 with this, and then what was it, nearly $17,000 worth of baling. And I just was wondering if it was the right thing to do. But what made me decide that, yeah, that's the way we go about it, is I thought afterwards, well, if we really did get into financial trouble, we would own the baler at that point, and we could sell it. We'd take a bit of a hit, but we could get some of our cash back. Because I really would like to get also that 50 grand paid back, because technically I guess we could use that 50 grand to pay rent on the house. I guess you could consider that infrastructure, but we really shouldn't be making vehicle payments with it. Now we did, you know, when we very first started, we had no choice. We did a couple, but since then we've made enough money that, you know, we can say that none of that 50 went to that. But if we get that 50 grand paid for, or another way to look at it, if we paid what would be 44,000 back and only had the 6, because that's what we would need for rent, that would be okay. We wouldn't have broken any of our self-imposed rules. The nice thing about this baler, it whips right along. I mean, it's no faster, but the fact that we don't need to stop, it's kind of like same as using a square baler, because it's got the pre-chamber in it. We should be onto that plowing contract later today. Maybe fairly late in the day, but we can at least get a start on it. And like I said, I'll do those, actually both of those contracts if I have enough time off camera. What I'm not going to do is work through the night or anything crazy like that, but I will work into the dark. But I'll probably shut it down in-game, 8, 9 o'clock, something like that, like you probably would. And then go out and start the next morning, so we get a reasonable amount of rest. Actually, we could be doing some of this in cab, couldn't we? Now we know that's all working. We don't need to be watching it anymore. I mean, if we need to, on the last day when we're still struggling with that plowing contract, for example, we may push on later into the night, but not my intention to work 24 hours straight on the farm just to get the advantage of earning more money. Not, probably not the realistic way to do things. And I'm not a real stickler for realism, but I tend to lean that way more than the other, given the choice. I do like this baler. I tell you, you're probably going to get sick of seeing it on my series, because it's just hard. When you find a really good piece of equipment, it's really hard to deviate from that. And this, I guess the pre-chamber on it, because that on this model is not standard, and the wrapping the 180 centimeter bales, that's the unrealistic part of it. I mean, it doesn't run any faster or anything like that. And balers with pre-chambers are a real deal, but they tend to run... this is solely based on my in-game experience, not real life. They tend to run a little slower. So, in that respect, this one runs faster because it doesn't have a reduced speed, but it doesn't run any faster than the standard in-game version of this baler. That all makes sense. I actually, fairly recently, a mod came out that to add liming contracts, and I had that kind of sitting in the wing to turn on if I needed to, if we needed to get some more contracts. But I'm liking the look of this month. This is more what I expected. If there was an easy way for me to come up with a buyout option on the financing, I would consider doing that. But just the way that mod is operating right now, I mean, it certainly could be done, but it's just more work than it's worth. So in a situation like this where we want to, pay something out early, I'll just go with the leasing option. because that's real easy to calculate, come up with a number. Now, right now, I haven't been getting the family involved in any of the farming. Not that there's been a heck of a lot of farming going on, but I'm just kind of letting them get settled in. We only have the one tractor, and I haven't had uh, anything pressing that I needed to do outside of the farming. So I just been giving them a bit of a break and handling it myself. But um, I sure hope that isn't always the case. I'm just going to turn the HUD on and see how full it's getting. I'm going to go down here a little ways. I don't mind dropping the outermost row, but this next row, the one in from that, I don't like to drop those bales because they almost always end up in the road. So what I'm doing is I'm just running down here till it's almost full. Pick up this row, and then we'll do these back and forth. Then I end up dropping a bale on the end there that I have to try and work around. We see here in Alberta, I've seen old Deutsches running around, kind of like the Deutz Alice era, but I haven't seen a new Deutz in our neck of the woods ever yet. See Fence, and I've seen JCBs, and of course John Deere and Massey and Case, but Deutz is one brand that seems to have disappeared, at least here in Alberta. I should actually Google and see if there's an actual dealership here. Like they used to be around, but I haven't seen a new one around at all. So what made me think of that, I was just thinking about not having an easy way to buy out financed equipment, and this is financed. And so I was just thinking to myself, well, it's not a hardship to keep this around on the farm. That made me think, I wonder how realistic it is, because it certainly wouldn't be a tractor you would see around here. Oh shoot, we're just about full here. Okay, we'll head off down this one then. But I guess we're in Iowa, we're not in Alberta, so maybe it isn't unrealistic to have a Deutz in Iowa. I have no idea. Anyways, not thinking this tractor's going anywhere anytime soon. Even if our goal is to build up a John Deere fleet, this one might just stick around. Now, a couple mods came out, and unfortunately didn't come out quite on time. One was, I think it's called the Mobile Repair Shop, where you basically don't even need a repair shop. You can just repair your vehicle anywhere. And then the other one was kind of like the toolbox mod. And I wanted to use those and sell off that land, so we didn't own it anymore. But unfortunately, when I sold the workshop that I put in there and then tried to sell the land, it still thought it was sitting there. It still thought there was a placeable that I put on. So even though it was gone, it wouldn't let me sell it. I even just deleted the mod altogether and came back in, and it still said there was a placeable there. And it's unfortunate. I literally found those mods that come out a day or two after I bought the land and put that workbench in. So it's unfortunate. That really wasn't the first piece of land I was going to buy. I was going to continue to rent that for a while. And I think we'll still carry on with that idea in the storyline. I just don't like going into the map and seeing that we own it. It's a minor thing, I know, but now how full are we? Oh, we got some room, so we can run down this end again. How are we doing time-wise? 9:30, not too bad. Should have looked and see if it told us that on this fancy display anywhere. Kind of hard to read when we're bouncing around. I see the time or the temperature. Oh yeah, there it is in pretty small writing in the bottom left-hand corner, so good to know. I'm assuming that's linked up with game time. Yeah, it is exactly. Okay, cool. Too bad it didn't tell us how full the baler was. Or the other useful piece of information would be how long I've been recording for. That's one thing I do miss. On PlayStation, that was super easy to see how long you'd been recording for, and you when you paused it would tell you, and when you unpaused it was totally seamless. You'd never see it. But here on PC I haven't found a seamless way. I was actually thinking I should get a timer that I just sit here at my so-called workstation and then when I start recording hit it so I have an idea, because I just have to go kind of off my internal clock, which surprisingly it's not always all that accurate. I suppose if I was really smart, I'd take a note of what the game time was, and then I could kind of keep track of it that way. I just was thinking, said we were going to start a John Deere farm, and we don't have a single John Deere piece of equipment yet. Not one. Well, that's okay. Just you wait. We'll have lots of it soon enough. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to stop down here at the end and do a pause and check the timing, because I do want to have enough time to bring you back in and provide an update to everything once the baling is done. So you may see a little flicker, but that's what's going on. We got a little bit of time left, but not much. Enough time to maybe do this row. That's about it. And then like I said, that's where I'll leave you. I'll get this baling done and then bring you back in for an update before we end this episode on where we're at financially and what we have, if any more contracts have shown up. Well, there we go. It is 9:40 in game, so I'll leave you there, and we'll see what time it is when I get all this baling done. And at that time, we'll actually own the baler. It won't be leased anymore. And we'll take a look at where our finances look like, what time it is, and what other contracts we have before we leave this episode. So for you guys, I'll see you in just a second. For me, well, it's going to take a little longer, but we'll see you right away. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. It is almost 6:30 here on the farm. I came back here to the yard to have supper after completing those baling contracts, and as promised, have an update for you where we're at. So we're up to $86,000. That's up roughly $4,000 from where we started today. But we now own this baler. We own that outright, and we own a pressure washer. That is what we've gained so far today. So not a bad day, but the day is not over. When I got back home here, I had a lot of messages waiting for me. And if we take a look, David here in particular was quite anxious to get his baling done, and it's a rather small field. And like I said, it's dark, but it's only 6:30, so we're going to do that because I can get that done this evening and still get to bed at a very decent time. Now, a couple other baling contracts came in, but these are both square baling ones, and they certainly are worthwhile doing, but we'd have to spend money in order to do those contracts. Now, I did talk to Matt, and he does have a cheaper option for a baler that we could use, but we can go ahead and do this $90,000 plowing contract and not have to buy anything. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to finish that baling contract yet tonight. I'm just going to get some fuel in the tractor and get going here. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to start on that plowing contract. Now, once that is done, I'll make a determination at that point when I'll bring you back in. It all depends where we're at in the month. If there's a little time left, I'll probably just pick up that plowing contract and get that done. But if there's a more substantial amount of time and we were going to do something like those square baling contracts, I'll bring you back in for that because that'll involve some new gear. So for this episode, I am going to leave you there now. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.